Hello everyone and welcome to the Sydney Football Stadium. This is Ray Warren with our coverage of today's game between Canterbury, the Dogs, and South Sydney, and Canterbury goes back to the Sydney Football Stadium for the first time since September 27 when they went down 38-12 to the Brisbane Broncos in last year's grand final. There's their team: Silver, Lester, Hughes, one of three brothers, Smith, Halligan, Corey Hughes, Stewart, Glenn Hughes, Clyde, Price, Stone, Hetherington, Britt, and the interchanges Ralph Ward, Reardon and Talau, and they're coached by Steve Folkes. One of the most famous clubs of all, South Sydney, 20 premierships, in a battle for survival taken out by their captain, Sean Garlick. The crowd giving them a great reception, as small as it may be. Let's have a look at their side. Fairly strong one too. Wing, Lumans, Rodwell, Nickel, Hookie, Doonerman, Trindle, Schloss, Smith, Iro, Carroll, Garlick, Parsons. The bench is Caruana, Rubin, McNicholas, Slattery, and coached by Tugger Coleman. Halligan placing the ball. Andrew Voss is on the sidelines today. Good afternoon, Andrew.
Yeah, g'day, Ray. In fact, fairly steamy conditions for this one this afternoon. 22 degrees, just the slightest breeze. Goal kicking could be a problem today for the Bunnies. Daryl Trindle is their first choice kicker. He didn't have one attempt last year, so he hasn't kicked since 1997, and his success rate is 61%.
Thank you, Andrew. Halligan starts, and the Rabbits are on their way back. Parsons, driven back by the Canterbury defence. Strong. To the blind they go, a run by Garlick. Good leadership. Just settling them down a little bit. They'll be pumped right up. Carroll. Strong tackling by Canterbury. Hetherington, Britt and Price. This is the number 12, James Smith. As South Sydney work it out to the 40-metre line. Fourth tackle. They kick on an early. And Trindle. The ball down, bouncing for Halligan. 5 away from his own line. Chase was good from South. Rod Silver. And now and away from Stephen Hughes. They've lost it. Lost by Gavin Lester.
Well, a tremendous start from South. One thing they don't lack is size. Carroll, Iro, Parsons, and Gavin Lester, a nervous start for the winger. A tremendous opportunity here in the opening minutes for the Red and Greens. Trindle feeds 10 in, or 10 out from the Canterbury line.
To the 5/8 Doonerman. Able to unload. Trindle then, met by the defence. Corey Hughes in jumper number 6. His elder brother Glenn Hughes in 13. This is Parsons. Tackled on the 10. Right in the centre of the ground. The Rabbitohs looking for first blood. Trindle put down. Corey Hughes, strong in defence. Garlick using the blind side. Here's Carroll. Carroll flicks it out the back. Doonerman loses the ball. Lester makes up for the mistake originally.
That was a great tackle there by Lester. Now a penalty goes to the Canterbury side. There's drama. It's on.
Yeah, Sean Garlick is underneath that. The Canterbury players reacting to what they thought was a foul. Touch judge came in very quickly, and I think you'll find it will be Sean Garlick who's penalised out of this.
Stay with the centre man.
Sean Garlick.
Sean Garlick.
Sean Garlick. This player is your main offender in the whole incident. He came over the top to the player on the ground. Then he had another second go with the arm towards the head of the opponent while he was laying on the ground.
Thanks, Phil.
He inside the whole situation.
All right.
The arm to the head.
What's on? Sean, just settle down, right? I do give him the penalty. Play the game, right? You know what the go is.
Yeah, I didn't hear the whistle.
Yeah, what he said, right? Playing football, right?
And the penalty goes to Canterbury. Sean Garlick, the offender. Canterbury working it away from their 20-metre zone now. Bradley Clyde, first touch in the Canterbury jumper. Darren Smith back in the Canterbury jumper. Troy Stone. Played City Origin, I think it was 96. Darren Brett now. Got an Australian jumper last year to the blind for Clyde. And a groan from the crowd as Nicol goes in to make the tackle. Hetherington, a long ball for the kick from Stewart. Craig Wing, one of the pin-up boys for South. Been getting some help from Graham Langland. 32 metres away from the South line. Tony Iro, one of two internationals in the South Sydney side. Rodwell plays it. Garlick runs it. Carroll's with it now. Halfway line and good defence again. Clyde and Price. Parsons. 7 metres now into Canterbury's area. Trindle. Price diving in for the charge down. Halligan's back on his own line. Gets it back under the defence of Rodwell.
All right, I think this opening is as good as any we've seen this weekend. Minimum of mistakes, some heavy hitting. Canterbury now through Brad Clyde trying to take it out of their own danger area. He's taken 9 out from his own line. Really a lot of enthusiasm from both teams.
Stewart. Oh, gee, it might have just clipped the head of Darren Brett. Lester has done well to recover for Canterbury. The big captain got the noggin in the road. And a penalty now goes against South for an arm in the play the ball.
He's got Jason Nicol there hanging around the tackle. Rushing too long. Stewart, a speculator, went to no one. Once again, Lester's had a bit of work to do up there as far as saving some tricky situations.
Penalties favouring Canterbury early on. 2-0 and now make it 3. I've got to say, it's something I never thought I'd see. Stewart and Clyde in anything other than a green jumper. The tap is to be taken by Hetherington and he sends his captain towards them, Darren Brett, 42 metres away from the South Sydney line. Now Stone, and if he can regain the form when he represented City, he's going to be a permanent member of this Canterbury side. He's a very good player. Price. Bradley Clyde, a dummy half, just a couple of paces across the ground. Then Glenn Hughes, a lofted pass across, finding Stone, and Stone is met there by Nicol and Doonerman and put down. Doonerman, the marker from Toowoomba. Hetherington. Grabbed an Australian jumper last year, 27 metres away from the South Sydney line. It's the first time Canterbury have been in this situation. A high bomb and Craig Wing is equal to it. He never took his eyes off it, stood his ground and then took on the defence.
It was a tremendous take from Craig Wing because the ball was swirling. You could see that he actually had to change his body posture to accommodate where the ball was going to land. It's been an impressive start for the fullback who has played a couple of positions but feels fairly settled at the back.
Parsons. Oh, gee. Jeremy Schloss almost getting himself offside to receive the pass. He took it right on the ad line. Now to Trindle on the blind, switching it back to the open for the kick from Doonerman. And Doonerman's kick goes straight to Rod Silver. This is what he likes. Open field play, broken play, and he takes it down to the 40-metre line where he's put away by Nicol. Now it's through from Stephen Hughes to Darryl Halligan, and Halligan takes it to ground 41 metres away from the Canterbury line. Hetherington now, then Britt straight ahead, running at Rodwell, defending in close to the ruck. Now Stewart showing it, giving it to Clyde, and they're right on the halfway line, Canterbury, with the penalties favouring them 3-0, the scoreboard 0-all, and Stewart tries to roll it over the touchline in the members' corner, and Craig Wing is there to be tackled by Canterbury just inside the 20-metre line. Tackler was Corey Hughes. The number 2 is Justin Lumans from North Queensland. Garlick, Parsons. They're a very big pack of forwards, Souths. Their front row particularly would rank amongst the biggest I've seen for quite some time. And I noticed that another big lump of a man is out there in Ian Rubin in 15 there, bottom right-hand corner. So now it's with Trindle as he leaves the 30-metre mark behind him. Goes outside the 40, makes a clean break, comes to Silver. The pass was forward. Hooking's on his way, gets it inside to Rodwell. Rodwell will score, but there was a forward pass back from Trindle. Hate to pour a negative on it, but Rodwell has put it down under the bar. Souths are in front, 4-0 after 8 minutes.
I tend to agree, Ray. There was a doubt on the pass, but some beautiful work here from Daryl Trindle. Created it himself, showed good strength to slide through, straight through 2 tackles. This is the pass that's the problem to the man on the outside. It has gone forward, no doubt about that, but the referee was in great position. Hookie gets the ball back over the top, and Brett Rodwell, former Illawarra player, takes it around to take 4 into 6. And they won't care if there was a doubt on the pass. They'll just be happy that they've got away to the best possible start. Stewart and Britt were the offenders.
You ask any prop forward who they find it the hardest to tackle out there, they'll always say the little halfbacks. On that occasion, that was exactly right, because Trindle's carved them up. Forward pass, that's right. I can't believe the ref missed it. And Rodwell's a great finisher. Great start for the Bunnies. They've been working up to this. They're giving the ball some air. They're getting a good deal of second phase play as well. They look pretty good early.
Be interesting to see where that touch judge on the eastern side was also in relation to that pass. Just before we sort of aim our criticism at the referee, I'm always interested to know where the touch judge was, as well as Trindle puts another 2 points on the board for the Rabbitohs. The red and green flags are flying. South Sydney 6, Canterbury no score, 9 minutes gone. New Zealand viewers taking us live today through Sky TV. And you've become very good friends of our telecast for some years now, and we welcome you again to this year's coverage. Sky TV New Zealand as the restart sees Big Parsons coming back. Of the front rowers used, he's been left there and he's been very high on his workload. Now Ruben Garlick to the blind, a dummy, tries to make the bust. Had James Smith with him, but the defence was strong. Corey Hughes has been very good in that department today. Ruben again. Garlick looking, goes right behind Duneman to the boot of Trindle. He rushed that kick, and Silver on his own 20-metre line. Across, heading off towards Darryl Halligan. No place for mistakes now. He takes it to ground safely. And now Darren Smith, who will be getting a little bit frustrated out there. He loves to have the football in his hands. And at the moment, he has to content himself with playing centre in a game so far that hasn't been made for the Canterbury centres.
That's Barry Ward on for the Bulldogs. Jersey number 15 on for the captain. Is Canterbury having a few problems getting out of their own area. Very good defence from South Sydney. At the moment, 30 metres out for the Dogs. They go to Stewart. Shapes to kick, but he finds an inside runner.
Glenn Hughes, the eldest of the three brothers. And the first time these three brothers have played together in the top grade. Their father, Gary, of course, played with his two brothers for the Dogs in an illustrious career back in the middle 70s through. He was a very talented player, Gary Hughes, played 5/8 for the Dogs. And here he is with three sons. He'd be a very proud man today. And so would Mum. 16 for South is no chicken either. McNicholas. Trindle's pass straight across the face and picked up there by Nicol, the centre, who's been busy.
Great tackle from Gavin Lester, having to come in and snuff out the attack. Needed to do so.
Schloss. 37 metres away from the Canterbury line. Duneman across through Iro. Good catch, good pass, and this has been called as a forward pass. Well, I mean, that makes a folly. It really makes a folly of the pass that we were talking about involved in the try.
Yeah, 1 out of 2, not bad. But South Sydney, they are really working to the extremities of the field and finding a bit of space.
So it's Canterbury working it out through Troy Stone, just beyond the 40-metre line. Andrew Voss on the sidelines.
Well, Ray, just to mention of this crowd, I know George Pickens made an impassioned plea to Rabbitohs supporters during the week to come out in full voice as Canterbury make an error. And it's a bit like a throwback to the Redfern days. The crowd on this western side of the ground isn't that bad, actually, but they're making plenty of noise. You know the story. Canterbury defence offside every play. They're booing the referee. They're really getting behind their team.
South get their first penalty of the game.
And with Daryl Trindle as their first choice kicker, interesting to see what decision they make here. 6 in front, 8 would be a very good lead.
If the penalty was going to Canterbury, it'd just be a shoe-in for Halligan, be a sitter for him, but they're going to put it into touch. And maybe the thought would be that Trindle couldn't kick it dead, so there'd be a 40-metre kick for him. So they're putting the pressure on now.
We've got a blood bin here on one of the Canterbury players. It's Barry Ward.
He dropped the ball earlier to give South Sydney possession. I'm sure that that's the result of the collision.
14 minutes gone in the game. Carroll's back on, reaching the 10-metre line. And 6-0 South Sydney as they put a blindside play together. Trindle involved. James Smith able to unload. Back to Trindle, taken by Hetherington and secured by Darren Britt. Garlick now finding Carroll again. Carroll hitting the line, forced down by the Canterbury defence. 3 of them involved. Garlick, Trindle wide on the right. Duneman gets it back for Trindle, and Trindle's put down 9 metres out from the line. Garlick trying to settle things down. Iro and the big fella losing it behind him. It'll be play on. And Schloss is about to play it on the 10-metre line, 5th tackle. Will he try the bomb, the grubber? It's the bomb, across field. Up they go, battered down by Smith. It comes down to Nickel. Nickel for Duneman. Oh, the pass has been intercepted by Leicester. The line was there, the corner was open.
Oh, they bombed it. Duneman maybe should have just kept going for that corner as Canterbury threw Hughes rocket out. A great kick. Smith went up. And then Nickel came down. Look at Duneman just heading for that corner. Could he have got there? Leicester came up once again with a great save.
Clyde. Hetherington using Stewart, and Stewart decides to run this time. Reardon was running a decoy, and Stewart decided to run himself, which he doesn't do very often. Craig Wing, he'll get back easily. And the tackle made by Reardon together with Stephen Hughes. Lumans, who was involved in that incident back on the corner where South could have just about got a try out of it, had Lumans and Duneman put it together. A good offload there by McNicholas under pressure and cleaned up by Schloss. They're just beyond their own 20-metre line. They're leading by 6 points to nothing. Iro shoveling the ball down to Rodwell. Rodwell scored the try, controversial though it may have been. Carroll. 4 of them involved in the defence on the big fella.
Well, they're playing with plenty of confidence, aren't they? South Sydney. Ball goes to Trindle. He finds touch, 25 out. That's the end of a good set of 6. Looking to keep the ball alive, getting some second phase play working. And they're having a good time out there at the moment. This is a good kick under pressure.
Yeah, Pete, Tony Iro looks pretty good early, doesn't he? He's always had a great deal of ability. He's got the ability to draw players into him and then pop a pass to someone into a hole. Consistency's been a problem, but here he's at South Sydney and he's playing very well.
I'll tell you what else is very good today, the handling, and I'm just looking at the completion rates, Peter.
Well, it doesn't get any better than that. That would exceed the expectations of both coaches.
So Canterbury with the back rower, Glenn Hughes.
Speaking of coaches, it's a bit of a contrast, isn't it? You've got Craig Coleman, he loves a chat. Steve Folkes, not too much to say, fairly reserved sort of character, but both played for their clubs with great pride and distinction and now gone on to take over the reins.
Daryl Halligan, Stewart, and now Britt. Now 43 metres away from the South Sydney line from Hetherington. Stewart Across, he's looking for the reverse pass, but it's the kick for Glenn Hughes that lands down inside the South Sydney 10-metre zone. Lester is after Wing, and Wing takes it to ground, keeping it safe. Trindle, very sloppy play the ball by Craig Wing. Garlick using Parsons. Nichols lost it. It was a good tackle. Reardon was underneath, but the man that caused it was Hetherington. Now to the blind side, they put it together for Price. Price away from a couple of clutching tackles. The chance that Canterbury's been looking for. Is this it? 15 away from the South Sydney line. Darren Brett. Trindle up the top. Garlick underneath. Away from the 10-metre line to the left for Stewart. He looks back on the inside, uses the outside, and it's Glenn Hughes who'll play the ball. Still 10 metres from the line. Stewart floating it across for Robert Relf. Right in the centre of the ground, and Hetherington sees a chance. Fifth tackle, short of the line.
Oh, there's a chance to the left if they can get it to Halligan's wing.
Stewart looking to put the long pass on, and it's gone straight into the arms of the number 12, and Bradley Clyde has scored off the Ricky Stewart pass. How appropriate. How appropriate was that for Clyde out wide. Stewart gave him the ball, and he just ran at the gap.
And this is the first time that Souths have given possession away at their own end. Drop ball from Jason Nichol. Hetherington went oh so close to scoring himself from dummy half. They did well, but they never recovered and got trips. We freeze it there. That is the South Sydney player who's the widest man. We've still got Daryl Halligan out of shot there. This is Ricky Stewart. He has a look where he needs to go. Play continues. He catches the ball. It's a pinpoint pass straight onto the chest of Brad Clyde. And it was great vision from Ricky Stewart. He knew that something was on out there. It was just a matter of delivering the right ball.
Yeah, summed up beautifully by Stewart there. Not a hand laid on any Canterbury player. So they hit back very nicely. And how many times have we called that over the last 10 or 12 years? Stewart to Clyde for a try. Always been in the green colours, now in the blue and white of Canterbury.
I must say, though, in retrospect, I'd like to have been sitting dead in line with that pass. We were for the South Sydney try. We weren't for that one, but there was a groan from some of the South Sydney supporters adjacent to it. Halligan's kick, oh, it's a beauty. A touch judge has dropped his flag. He picks it up, he puts it in the air, so it's a conversion to Halligan. And South Sydney and Canterbury are 6 points all at the 20th minute. Very special good afternoon to our viewers in Dunedin today. Trindle sends us into the second quarter of play. 21 minutes gone on the clock. Robert Relf playing it back on the Canterbury 20-metre line. Clyde. Marvellous start to his Canterbury career for Brad Clyde. And they are great mates, Stewart and Clyde. They'll probably share a drink and celebrate tonight. Corey Hughes' pass, I thought, was forward to Robert Relf. The referee's been given a call. Well, that's a good call from the touchy.
He got the call just in time, didn't he? I think Hampstead had missed it. Stewart's really orchestrating things well now. Hitting the right sides of the field.
Sideline, Vossi.
Well, Peter was talking just a short time ago about the coaches, and in particular Craig Coleman. You know how these days a lot of the coaches, they sit up in the stands. Well, not Tugger. He's got to be close to the action. He is living every single second of this match. He's up and down and shouting instructions. And at his side is Les Davidson, another former Rabbitohs great.
Ruben.
As Coleman took over round 19 last year from Steve Martin. Had 6 starts as a coach, 2 wins, in for his third.
Rodwell. Hookie, the dummy half. We're told that he's got tremendous ability. Be good to see him in some open space. Canterbury's 40-metre line, that's where we're at. Nine's first Sunday telecast for 1999. Nickel couldn't handle. Referee will order a knock-on and put a scrum down. Nickel is injured. The scrum will go down 20 metres in on the Canterbury 40-metre line.
Not a particularly good pass here from Andrew Doonerman. I've got a rap on the kid. I saw him play Commonwealth Bank Cup. In fact, he was the player of the year back in '92. He's been with North Queensland for a couple of seasons. Did put a lot of pressure on Nickel there as the troops get restless once again. The 2 sevens coming together.
Yeah, Ricky and Tricky.
Right, Tricky, you want to play games like that? We're going to have a scrum, now we're going to have a penalty. It's going to set you blokes back. You want to play games like that and get out.
Stewart.
Get the first round of Ricky, won't we?
He probably got the points on diplomacy. Reardon floating it over. Darren Smith, first touch out wide. Willie Talau is on. 25 away from the south line. Halligan. Reardon, short ball. Ralph. Back for Halligan. Away for Talau. Held eventually by Ruben in the 15 jumper. And Caruana is on. Britt. Good tackle by South Sydney's number 11, Tony Iro. Canterbury boiling it up again, though. Stewart. Oh, beautifully done around the back for Stephen Hughes. He did equally well. Back to Stewart. And Stewart is put away there by Doonerman and Nickel. Robert Ralph. And the 5th. 6 all. And Stewart goes high. Craig Wing got shouldered out of the road. The ball is loose. And it's a penalty to South Sydney. It's against Willie Talau for the incident, I'm sure, involving Craig Wing. Willie Wing.
A fairly obvious penalty, that one. But gee, it was a tremendous kick from Ricky Stewart. Again, pinpoint one, and chasers out there for Canterbury this season who are going to score plenty of tries from just those kind of kicks.
Carroll. 35 out from his own line. He's seen plenty of clubs, Mark Carroll. And his most recent, of course, the London Broncos. South did well to buy him. Many clubs would love to have had his signature. Now, they're trying to put Jeremy Schloss through a gap. It's finished up with Wing, the fullback. And they're just over the halfway line now. Carroll again. Ooh, heavy stuff from Price. You've got to be big and strong to do that to Mark Carroll. 12 to Smith. James. Silva. Fleet-footed. Elusive. Brilliant. Rod Silva, one of the really great crowd pleasers in the game. That's against Jeremy Schloss, not letting him play the ball. And Hampstead gives another penalty to Canterbury.
That was a good piece of football all around. A nice kick from James Smith, and here he is leading the chase. Didn't get to him, but as a big second row against a little fullback, you wouldn't expect him to. And then a darting run from Silva. The Canterbury fans, they love him.
Penalties are 4-2.
Yeah, he's got Robert Ralph there for just losing control of the football. Quite sure whether the interchange man agrees. Just see it. I thought that he kept control of it. So the referee was again in good position, but there's no way known Ralph agrees.
The penalty count that I referred to, of course, in favour of Canterbury. Trindle to the right for Doonerman. Wing comes on the inside. They go out for Rodwell. Tackled by Talau. And Hookie from dummy half picks up about 7 metres. He's forced back, though, by Darren Smith. Those players on the right of the ground for South, they'll know they've been up against one of the great centres of the game, Darren Smith, today. Carroll, and now it's Iro. Put down by Willie Talau, mainly, and by Darren Smith. Garlick this time. Through for Trindle, on for Doonerman. Doonerman standing and taking it to ground eventually, with Robert Relf coming in over the top. Last tackle for South. The charge down has failed, the charge down attempt, and Trindle waits a kick nicely into the corner. Silva, and he's taken there by Lumens and eventually secured by Caruana. Lester, Stewart, across for Halligan, not frightened to spread the ball, Canterbury on their own line. And Halligan plays it more towards centre ground. They keep going that way. Corey Hughes turns it inside for Talau, and he's been able to get away from Rodwell, but he's eventually secured there by Troy Slattery, who's on in number 17 for South Sydney. Corey Hughes now, the youngest of the brothers. As Hetherington comes from the field, his defence, one of the features of the Canterbury performance thus far. Relf put down eventually on the 30-metre line. Reardon, Stewart, shaped the kick, dummied, then got rid of Trindle before he put the kick in. Craig Wing will bring this back towards the halfway line. In fact, he's about 7 metres short, so that's not bad field position on your first tackle. Caruana, former North Sydney player, second season with the Rabbits. Garlick, Carroll, away now for Slattery. Just beyond the Canterbury 40-metre line. Inside it now, McNicholas got away from the tackle of Darren Smith and then lost the ball in the tackle. Talau. Just blocking off their ball security a little bit, South, as the game gets close to half-time or towards half-time.
Yeah, there you can see twice as many handling errors from the Rabbitohs. A danger time coming up for them. We're coming into the last 10 minutes of this first half. They've done very, very well. Just starting to make some mistakes, and Canterbury starting to string together some possession.
Here's Price, over the halfway. There's support coming, Silva. Oh, put away the glasses. Clear the tarmac. Rod Silva scores, Stephen Price burst into a hole down the right of the ground. Canterbury 10, South Sydney 6 after half an hour.
And against class opposition, if you do give them too much possession, you will pay. It was Nicholas trying to pick up a few extra metres. It was actually knocked out by Darren Smith, cleaned up by Talau. And then almost immediately we see Canterbury come back the right-hand side, a missed tackle from Doonerman, straight into the gap, Stephen Price. Man on his inside, picked him out beautifully, Rod Silva. He's a tremendous backer-upperer. You know that he's always going to be in support, Rod Silva. He loves getting on the shoulders of some of the big men. And Doonerman, he came in, missed the tackle, and all of a sudden it was all over.
A missed tackle by Doonerman, but also some lazy play on the blind side by some South defenders, and Stephen Price picking up where he left off last year. Really one of the forwards of the season. He was Stephen Price, played mainly prop forward back in the second row early season. Rocket Silva, he was doing this here at the SFS about 8 or 9 years ago in the Roosters colours, and he's still doing it.
You don't think that's in the dictionary, backer-upperer?
I haven't found it yet, but you've just invented it.
Get some points in Scrabble.
Conversion for Daryl Halligan. Canterbury leading South now by 6 points after 31 minutes. Half time, 7.5 minutes away. Been a good half of football. Souths have been very competitive. They only have to play that well to get a much bigger crowd to see them play at home in future. Hughes scored a try in the grand final a couple of years ago. Stone, Craig Polomouta, one of the injured dogs, sitting next to Darren Britt there on the bench. And I was about to call this player Price, but it's Barry Ward with a headgear on. Now it's Glenn Hughes putting a nice little kick in behind Lee Hookey. Some work to do. Oh, be careful, boy. Halligan was coming through the air like an eagle.
And Canterbury have got the last touch on that one, so it comes back to a 20-metre restart. He was willing this over the sideline. Halligan. I don't know how they picked who that did come off, but fortunately for South Sydney, came their way. Just on Craig Polomouta, Ray, he's one of 3 players for the Bulldogs out with shoulder problems at the moment. Martini, Shane Martini, of course Travis Norton, a regular first grader, also on the sidelines with that problem. Which has necessitated, and some of them predictable of course, but just watching the replay that's brought this penalty against Canterbury. I was going to make the comment that of course has necessitated 6 changes to the Canterbury team that was beaten by Brisbane in the grand final. They've got some lovely depth now, Canterbury. Well-administered club, very buoyant leagues club. And of course, at the end of the day, I suppose that speaks all languages, having the ability, money-wise, to buy the good players when they become available. Lumens. That's the name of the game these days. James Smith. 11 metres away from the Canterbury line. Can South Sydney score before half-time? Duneman. Second man play, wing in from the back. Second man play, Rodwell. Inside run for Hookey if he wants it, but he can't get away from the defence. Dummy half slosh. Last tackle, the kick is on for Duneman. Cross he goes. James Smith will try and bat it down. He does that, it comes down. Oh, they had a chance. Trindle has gone very close to getting it. He's done well, the big number 12 for South. Twice he's gone up for the big rugby union line-out back down, if you like, or Australian rules ruckman. Yeah, obviously it's something that they've worked on at training, putting the big man out wide and allowing him to jump to knock it back to the chasers, and on 2 occasions now it has almost led to South Sydney tries. Under 5 to go in this first half. And Barry Ward back into the action, wearing the headgear now. He get cut earlier.
12-6. Canterbury. Robert Relf out wide, getting the pass back for Glenn Hughes. And a bootlace tackle by Sean Garlick. And Hughes is clutching at his shoulder. And he's immediately called to be replaced. As the kick goes down the ground, and his brother did magnificently. The centre, Stephen. Leicester played it. Stephen Hughes on tackle 5. Over towards the centre of the ground. It's still play on. Hetherington couldn't catch it. It went away to Barry Ward. It's gone over to Talau. Talau comes back into the centre, and that's the turnover, but magnificent play by Stephen Hughes.
Great play by the Bulldogs. A nice tackle on this side as well by Justin Lumens. This one here, because Leicester's got plenty of speed. When they spun it, they nearly caught Souths out. Ruben now, he's lost the ball.
Well, he's got the penalties. The referee has claimed that it was raked out with 2 in the tackle. They just hung on, South Sydney, and now they wouldn't be looking to do too much fancy at this end of the field, although they're stringing together a couple of passes. I think they'll be fairly happy to go in just the 6 behind and let Craig Coleman tell them how they can win this one in the second.
It's Slattery. Now Carroll, as we look at the clock, 2.5 minutes to go to the break. 2 tries, 2 goals, 1 try, 1 goal. That's, Craig Wing has lost it, Ricky Stewart. quickly with the ball. Darren Smith sweeps it away. It's gone from Bradley Clyde. Beautifully taken by Corey Hughes. Leaning out and going to ground to pick it up and run a few metres. And he'll play it back to his brother Stephen. Just a couple of metres into South territory, and a penalty goes to Canterbury. South have given them a chance, given them a little smell of another try right in front of the siren for half-time.
Yeah, they'll have the last throw of the dice here in the first half. I think if they don't score in 5, Stewart would get in a position to knock over a one-pointer. So a big set of 6 in defence coming up for the red and green.
I think the instruction's already gone out from Stewart. 3 or 4 plays, maybe towards the centre. Gets involved himself, which means they'll probably take at least another one. Don't know that there's another kicker there as adroit as Stewart. Here they come back into the centre for Barry Ward.
Yeah, just one more back in and he'll be in good position.
So it's Darren Smith now, unloading for a simple, it looked like a simple forward play, but Stewart's put it through the hands. Silver is with it. He's through a gap, gets it on the inside, the ball goes to ground, and the referee will put a scrum down for the ball going forward. In fact, it's gone over the dead ball line now, so it's coming out to the 20-metre point for the restart. The South, I think, were guilty there of probably doing what we were doing. We were waiting and thinking of the field goal from Stewart, and he fooled them by putting it through the hands, and he almost gave a great opportunity for Corey Hughes and Rod Silver to get 6 points rather than 1. Carroll fell by Clyde and clamped over the top by Hetherington. This is Sloss. That looked worse than it is, I think. Barry Ward is the culprit. There's no anxiety from the referee.
Yeah, penalty certainly sufficient there. And South Sydney would hope to get maybe 1 or 2 rucks in here. Mark Carroll takes it in. They'll either throw one wide or put one up in the air.
15 seconds to go to the half-time break. Trindle through for Doonerman. Doonerman holding it back, gets a pass back and down for the number 11, Tony Iro. Time just about out. Trindle, and this is McNicholas, who was able to get it away. It's gone through Garlick onto Trindle. Trindle taken by Darren Smith. And the hooter in the background. The end of 40 minutes of football. Their first game of the year, Canterbury and South Sydney. And the scoreboard reads 12-6 to Canterbury. 2 tries, 2 goals against South Sydney, 1-1. We will take a break then from the Sydney Football Stadium. Canterbury leading South Sydney 12-6. .6 then, Canterbury in front. And Darryl Trindle sending it high, not a great deal of depth in it, and Price is back easily to the 20-metre line. Canterbury's end of the ground, naturally, in front of I suppose, a reasonable crowd. And if South can play this second half as well as they did the first, there's going to be more people come to see them. They're up against last year's runners-up, Canterbury, beaten by Brisbane in the final. And what a magnificent final series it was for them. Darren Britt, first try here today for Canterbury. Tremendously appropriate. Stewart with a long pass, putting Bradley Clyde over to score. And now Stewart's kick, rolling into touch just outside the South Sydney 20-metre line. The new look Ricky Stewart. Hampstead is our referee today. And apart from a couple of forward passes, which I'm not blaming him for, I prefer to blame the blokes on the sideline.
Stay there, Kerry, stay there.
He's had a pretty good game. Doesn't have any show pony about him. He gets the job done. Cool and calm. Here's Iro. I don't know that he's going grey or whether he's got some lime marking on his hair. Oh, gee, that's a tackle that always makes my blood run cold when I see them buckled over like that. Big Parsons it was. James Smith, 8 metres from the halfway line. Carroll, if you add up his hit-ups and his tackles, he was probably the busiest of the South Sydney forwards. Trindle now. They're trying to put pressure on Trindle every time it's time for the kick. And the more they rush him, the better field position Canterbury is enjoying on the kick return. Silver. Cross for Clyde, who's tackled on the 40-metre line. Andrew Voss is back from the sheds. Yes, Vossie?
And Ray, a special guest after half-time from the Canterbury ranks, one of their September heroes from last year, Craig Polamatta. Craig, what did you make of the first 40 minutes?
Yeah, it was a good first 40 minutes. South's come out extremely pumped up and played really well in the first 15 minutes, but I think the boys got back on top of them, and I think if they go well in the first 10 minutes of the second half, they should come away with a win.
An update on the fitness of Craig Polamatta. You've had a couple of trips to hospital over the summer.
Yeah, it hasn't been the best off-season, but I still wouldn't be ready anyway, so I'm looking forward to playing next week, but I'd say I'd have to come through reserve grade again. But I'm just looking forward to playing. All
right, Craig, thanks for your time. I should mention too, Ray, that Canterbury are a little concerned about a right shoulder injury to Glenn Hughes. They're still working on him in the dressing room. And from the South Sydney side of things, Craig Coleman a little disappointed with some of his team's handling in the first half, but also giving away penalties when Canterbury were coming out of their own danger end. He was a little worried about that has to stop.
Thank you, Andrew. This is Stone. Those statistics support what Tugger's talking about. We'll come back to that, though, as Corey Hughes goes over for Darren Smith, and here is Stephen Hughes now. 12 metres away from the South Sydney line, and South Sydney, everybody's on deck, knocked down by Trindle. There's 6 more tackles for Canterbury. Darren Smith will play it, and it will take a very good defensive effort now to keep them out. The first tackle is gone. We're looking at the second. It's Price. Played a big part in one of the tries today. Hetherington on the third, a metre from the line. Darren Smith. Then, bad pass. Very bad pass. And Ricky Stewart just biting his tongue. You get other than a dummy half into dummy half, and you're looking for trouble, aren't you? But then again, I suppose the dummy half was playing the football. He couldn't be everywhere. Scrum will go down 10 metres away from South's line. Just to back up what Tugger Coleman was talking about South's handling, we showed you some completion rates at the 20-minute mark, and South, I think, had completed 8 from 9. So it was almost perfect. But by the time they got to half-time, it was 12 from 20. So you can see the second 20 minutes of that first half, South Sydney's performance degenerated. Nickel. He's done well out there today, Nickel. He looks like he might be a bit of a fiery customer, though.
I think he's had a tremendous game. It's been very physical in defence. It's been good battle on that side of the field. As we've got another mistake from South Sydney, and they are starting to look a little bit ragged. Some of the big men, even this far out, just appearing to tire. And I think that Craig Coleman is going to be using the interchange most readily.
6th minute of the second half, and Canterbury have already had their opportunities to put more points on the board. Now, is there another knock-on, or is it fact?
No, it's a high tackle.
It's a high shot.
Ravi. Not much in this one either.
Talking of Nickel, let's listen to the ref.
He just clipped him around the neck.
Oh, gee, I can't believe that.
That's unbelievable. How would you get pulled up for that? Fair dinkum.
Not only has he been pulled up for it, he's given Halligan a shot at goal from 25 metres out right in front. That's pathetic, penalising that. And I'll tell you something else that's starting to become increasingly more evident. Blokes having the ball allegedly raked out of their possession in a 2-man tackle. Some of them are actually, I think, offering the ball. They've thrown the idea of ball security out the window, many of them. knowing that they'll get a penalty anyway. Halligan from 25 out right in front, and you might as well shut your eyes because it's over. Shut your eyes if you're a South Sydney supporter, I mean. Canterbury 14, South Sydney 6. 6 minutes gone, second half. Trindle starts on the back of a further 2 points to the Bulldogs. Stephen Price. Brad Clyde. Hetherington. Darren Britt. 37 away from his own line. Stone. Sloss around the legs and Carroll the top. Now for Corey Hughes. The kick angling across but bouncing favourably for Craig Wing. Stepping off his left foot. Getting away from Talau. And down to the 40-metre line. Trindle. Parsons. Halfway line. Gullick. Carroll. Carroll throws it willy-nilly and hopes for the best. Finds Doonerman, who finds Nicol. Nicol offloads one-handed. And it's with Lumans on the far side of the ground. Nicol forced to go himself. Gullick. Doonerman. Sloss. 25 away, tackle number 5. Gullick. Iro can pop a pass. Nicol back and away. James Smith. There's a chance on for the Rabbits. Garlick is over. Sean Garlick has scored. South Sydney's second try. Perfect placement of the pass from James Smith.
Well, there were a few good passes involved, weren't there? Tony Iro, this started proceedings. He's a talent, isn't he, Craig Wing? There was absolutely no way knowing he could beat 2 defenders. But somehow he worked his way through, eventually cleaned up 40 out from his own line. And then on the last tackle, Tony Iro, spoke about him earlier, his ability to keep play going. Nicol did very, very well. And so did Smith. He attracted 2 and 3. There seemed to be plenty of Canterbury defenders there, but the ball work of the South Sydney side was just too good.
And some great backing up there from the Bunnies as well. Sean Garlick just had a trail on the inside. Smith drew 2 or 3 players. A couple others dropped off from the Canterbury side, and the Rabbits are back into it.
And they are back into it, aren't they? Because if they hadn't have been the next to score, I've got no doubt that Canterbury would have powered away. But all of a sudden the confidence will be lifted. He hasn't had too many difficult shots. Darryl Trindle, he'll have appreciated that. He should be successful with this one, you would think.
So from 10 metres out and adjacent to the uprights, the further 2 points are there for South Sydney. They're trailing now by 2 for coach Craig Coleman. Iro's pass was good, but not as good as that one from Nicol. And then James Smith could have undone it all had he have passed any earlier. He drew the heat into himself to give Sean Garlick, his captain, a clear run to the line.
And Garlick coming back saying, good work, guys. Strong work. Tony Iro. He's a good leader, Sean Garlick. He's professional's professional. Really enjoyed the way that he plays the game. As Parsons, a good run from the restart. 23 out. Spring in the step.
I might just pick that up for you, Sterlo, and run with it for a moment. He is Sean Garlick. Penalty to South. Interference in the play of the ball from Canterbury, not letting them get up and play it. Let's have a look at this. Sean Garlick, I was going to make the point, is more of a classic example of the modern day footballer than some of the unsavoury incidents that have been highlighted and attributed to some of the players in the game in more recent time. More of them are like Sean Garlick than are not. South Sydney getting a roar from the crowd. Parsons. Canterbury surge in defence to remind them that they're still here. and in front. Iro. 40 metres out from the Canterbury line. Garlick back to the blind for Trindle. A little kick looking for Lee Hookie down the right on Halligan's wing. It's with Halligan. Silver. Taken down by Rodwell and Hookie.
And good work from the South players here, getting off the tackle player quickly. They don't want to hold down. They want tackles to be wasted. And all of a sudden, that's 3 gone. They're inside the 10, and some Canterbury players have only just got back into position.
Stewart's pass to Clyde. Suspect. Just inside the 20-metre zone. And Canterbury's used plenty of tackles, as Peter pointed out. That's 5. And Stone is just outside the 20-metre line. There's a problem, though, for Daryl Trindle. He's limping off the field.
What about the kick?
Craig Wing. Craig Wing goes for the accelerator, then goes for the brakes. Lumens. Wing goes over to dummy half. South's regrouping. There's a big problem for Trindle. 45 out from their own line, the Rabbits. The playmaker is out of it. James Smith. Duneman's got to put his hand up now and take control. Garlick trying to control it from dummy half. Reuben down for Sloss. Sloss with a dummy. Banged into the ground by Price. Helped by Stone. Duneman to the 40, holding it back. And Iro, the big fella, is an awful pass. Canterbury come up with it 35 away from their own line. Here's the injury suffered by Trindle. And they say that it's a cork just above the knee, apparently. Andrew, can you help us?
Yeah, that's the story. They're working on Tricky Trindle right now on the bench. It is a cork just above the knees. He went in to make that tackle. There he is there.
Penalty coming from this incident. And it will be Ricky Stewart who will find the line on the eastern side of the Sydney Football Stadium. It's not until you come back to the Sydney Football Stadium after last night that you realise how big that thing out at Homebush really is. It is like a monster, and this is a kid brother. Hetherington. Price. .15 out from the line. This is a very dangerous period for South. Corey Hughes. His brother Glenn damaging a shoulder. Barry Ward. Good tackle there from South. Away from Stewart. Trouble out wide. Silver gets his second try. I think he came down on the line. Hampstead wants to look at it. I've got a feeling he landed on the try line.
That's good work by Hampstead, unlike Bill Harrigan last night, who awarded the try without going to the video referee system. This one, Hampstead's decided to have a look at it. Good ball from Clyde. Does he come down short? He does. Does momentum carry him across? I don't think so.
No, it's no try.
So it looks like the referee has made the right decision in going to the video ref. We're now awaiting his decision.
And the important point is there will be, in my opinion, no penalty for a second movement anyway. It's no try, so the video referee, Ian Parnaby, has certainly got it right. And it's simply a play the ball. So Canterbury still with a good chance. Stewart. Corey Hughes. Wide for brother Stephen. Stephen puts the fend on Duneman. 5 gone now for the Bulldogs. Leicester. Stewart holding it back instead of kicking. Corey Hughes got a left foot kick on it. James Smith was there and is driven into the ground to play the ball on tackle 1 for South. Penalty against Corey Hughes.
The referee's given a few penalties for that offence. The players would just about have learnt by now, but I wonder in the final wash-up how important those last couple of minutes will be for South Sydney. They got plenty of momentum going, and they gave away some possession and some penalties to the opposition. Canterbury looked like they were going to score through Silver. They're still at a 2-point ball game and a strong run from Carroll, 28 out.
Iro. That big left hand in the face of a couple of players, and then they surge in, they group in to put him away. Another enigmatic player, Iro. He can be very good or he can be very quiet. James Smith hitting the hole at around about the 40-metre mark. Slattery. 5 gone for South now. Doonerman charged down by Price. He's been doing it all day, Stephen Price. He hasn't relented. He's kept the pressure on the kickers, and a couple of times it's paid handsome dividends for them.
Yeah, Price coming through on Doonerman. They were classmates at Harristown High School in Toowoomba. They went to different clubs after leaving. Now they come in opposition to each other as Daryl Trindle looks to come back into the action. Very painful thing, Corks, but the best thing you can do is get out there and continue to run it out. They're worse when they cool down.
Brett Rodwell formed that very good centre combination for a long period of time with Paul McGregor. And now they're both in different coloured jumpers. Oh, it's out the back and play on. McNicholas was the offender. No, he's called him up for a knock-on.
They're a long way from the action in the commentary box here, but the ball appeared just to come straight out backwards. And how that can be a knock-on, I cannot fathom.
It has got to be a penalty or play on.
And 6 again, you would... Like, there's no way knowing that Corey Hughes hasn't raked that one out.
Absolutely right, Peter.
Could have been 3 results there, and they would have all been South Sydney's way. The 4th one, no.
I gave Hampstead a rap at half-time, but you've got to cop some criticism, old boy. You've made a terrible blunder there, and it might prove very costly for South. And you've had more difficult decisions to make than that today. Clyde on the halfway. Hetherington. Stone. Barry Ward with the headgear after a bad gash to the head earlier. Hetherington a run from dummy half. Back. Silva supports. A backer-upperer. Stephen Hughes to the ground. Reardon. Knock backwards. Play on. Back and away. Hetherington. Now Barry Ward. Canterbury keeping it alive. Game of touch football. Silva. Stone. Stone. The hooded monster. Tackled on the 30-metre line. They keep it going, the blue and whites, and it's Brad Clyde. 5 gone. 20-metre line. Price. Stewart. Stewart a kick, and he's got chasers with him, but beautifully read by Lee Hookey. Number 14 for South is Caruana. McNicholas. Tricky Trindle getting back into the game. They've lost some direction since he went off. Carroll. Sloss. Smith. And they must protect the football now. 32 metres away on 5. And here's Trindle. More comfortable kick from him. Ball rolling down to the 10-metre line where it's with Silva. Beating 1, beating 2, beating 3 before Rodwell jumps aboard. Darren Smith.
And there's no way known on a kick chase coming down on Rod Silva that you come down in a staggered fashion. He just steps either way. He's really got to come down, even if you come down as slow as your slowest man in the chase, you've got to keep a straight line against him.
Stone. Close to the halfway line. Ward. Good work. Talau. Now the last tackle for Canterbury, and Stewart dodges around 1, puts a kick down the line Craig Wing goes running across the park, straightens up and is tackled 27 metres out from his own line.
Hasn't he been good, Craig Wing? He's done everything right today. He's very elusive. He's beaten the first man on quite a few occasions. Being there, Johnny on the spot to take all those high balls. He's been terrific.
30-metre line now for the Rabbits. Their own end of the ground. Out to the 40 as Carroll comes off. Iro. Tackle number 5. We're on that now. Parsons. The last. Booneman. Trindle. Silva. He just runs straight around them. Now he's run through them. Now he's up and away again. Somebody stop him. 38 metres away from the red and green line. Brings the crowd to their feet again, Rod Silva. Jason Hetherington. Now it's gone back for Ralph and now it's been bombed by Darren Smith. Well, that was under the bar.
Oh, they deserved the try there. Rod Silva's having an absolute blinder. How many does he beat here? He beats them all twice each. It's a great run from Silva. Snorky just spoke about how elusive he is. You've got to keep a straight line. No straight line there. He's still going. And in the end, a nice ball from Britt. The South defence starting to struggle now. Inside ball from Ralph, right to the chest of Darren Smith. Down she goes.
Well, a lucky let off for the Rabbits. 20 metres out from their own line now. That should have been a 6-pointer. And Darren Smith taking out some of his frustration in that tackle.
Yeah, somehow the Rabbitohs need to get 2 sets of 6 in a row as they keep the ball alive.
Caruana's done okay.
Or get a penalty. So at the moment they're only working the ball out for 6. They're kicking it, giving away field position, and Canterbury doing all the attacking.
Brett Rodwell. 40-metre line, his own end of the ground. Trindle, Doonerman. He'll go back to Trindle. There goes the ball. It's gone forward. No.
6 ago.
He's ruled 6 again. And Jeremy Sloss strides out down to the 30. Caruana. Trindle. Oh, good. It was a good ball. It went off Slattery and went forward, though. Oh, that was pretty work by Trindle. It didn't come off. It is 14-12, the Dogs over the Rabbitohs. "16 minutes of the game to go. 9 Networks exclusive Sunday coverage, as it is on Fridays. And next Friday we go to the big game, the winners of last night. Newcastle and Parramatta at Marathon. And that will be get there early. Don't be disappointed. What a tremendous match to have next Friday night. Parramatta and Newcastle at the Coliseum. Barry Ward. 40-metre line. His own end of the ground. His own backyard. Hetherington. Away for Big Britt. Stewart. And trying to roll it over the side. I thought we were about to see the first blemish on the game of Craig Wing. He almost got it back to the 20-metre line. This is the pickup. Whoops-a-daisy. A little bit of turbulence. Nickel. More of this might go a long way for South. A bit of dummy half running. Take some work off the big men.
Yeah, they've got to get the little blokes in there like Caruana is doing now. That's 4 gone, and they're going to kick from their own end of the field once again.
Just a few of the big blokes from the Bunnies look gone, Pete, don't they? Struggling.
Parsons. He lost it. Well, goodness gracious me, how many times has it happened? Particularly the big men from South getting up to play the football and losing possession.
Yeah, he lost it before the actual playing of the football. The ball was sitting on the ground and he didn't have hold of it. And there you can see way too many. That is tremendous from Canterbury. 5 handling errors in 65 minutes of football.
Stephen Hughes. Now Price in from the back, and Ralph tackled on the 30-metre line. Stewart shouting instructions. Barry Ward. Stewart's gone to the blind side. Links up over there with Darren Britt, who stands. I thought he was going to give it for Reardon. Takes the tackle, plays the ball inside the 20-metre line. Stewart now on the left, throws the dummy. The ball goes to ground, so they can do it as well. But not as often. Reuben. Ian Reuben, that's a good run, good contribution. Taking some pressure off, maybe building a foundation down the other end. Caruana goes through the gap. Caruana makes a long run. He's looking for support, and it's only just arrived. Played back for Lumans, now for Doonerman. Across for Trindle. On it goes for Slattery. He's tackled on the 20-metre line. 2 points the margin. Canterbury in front. James Smith. 9 metres out from the Canterbury line. Away from Carroll. Trindle's with the ball. Back inside for Doonerman. Doonerman gets through. Craig Wing is there. And looking for a runner he couldn't find. Last tackle. Garlick for Trindle. Trindle puts the kick in. And it's cleaned up by the Dogs.
Great work from South Sydney. And the fans appreciate it. Great work from Ian Reuben. He put the foot down, so too did Caruana. A nice kick here. Last tackle option, slides it in, gives his outside chasers a chance. Leicester gets it over the dead ball line, but they'll get it back from the dropout.
I hope some of the stay-at-home South supporters are watching these kids today, and they get here along with the brave and hardy that are here today to bolster the crowd, bolster the support.
As Bossy said, and noisy. Good atmosphere here today.
They've always been that, Peter. But those that are here, they need a few more lungs, screaming support. And the line dropout will see the Rabbits go back with a good chance. Jeremy Sloss, 25 metres away from the Canterbury line. One tackle gone, second one is unfolding. Carroll, 15 away from the Canterbury line now. Garlick away for James Smith. He comes to the 10-metre line, and the third tackle is gone. Garlick to the blind, Trindle dummies, then comes back the open, Doonerman, then Craig Wing, and the ball goes to ground, and Robert Ralph is away with it for Canterbury. So a chance there for Souths. A good passage of play for them nevertheless. Stone, as the errors 14 to South, 6 to Canterbury. Hetherington using Price, who met the ball on the advantage line. A second later and he's offside for sure. Willie Talau into the side off the bench today. And they're going to have a very impressive bench, I can assure you, when they all come back, including Craig Polamatta, of course. Halligan, Stewart, Corey Hughes, Stewart again on the run round, picking up Stone out wide. And Stone put down by the South defence of Carroll and James Smith to a lesser extent. Stewart, kick high. And Craig Wing has made a complete mess of it. He went up, came down with nothing, but a penalty's been given to South.
Inside the 10 metres there. Stewart kicked, they're all offside. And he's got a couple of them for being inside the 10. So Souths, not much time remaining. A long way to go, 75 metres to get down the other end.
Not a long time to go, Paul, but plenty of time. We've got just under 10 minutes.
Patience, Pete.
That's exactly right.
touch judge on the far side of the ground having a great day. Tried to signal a conversion, dropped his flag, then he just put the flag up to indicate the ball had gone into touch, and the flag fell off again.
They've got it.
Now,
A penalty here, not a penalty, I'm sorry, a forward pass from dummy half, and the South Sydney player was impeded by a Canterbury man still on the ground or getting up, Corey Hughes. Unfortunately, James Smith onto Parsons has been pulled up.
So it's Corey Hughes. Just into South Sydney's territory. The Rabbits have got to sustain some pressure. Canterbury have shown that they too can be vulnerable. But the problem for South is that they can't sustain that pressure long enough. That pass looked dubious. The crowd agrees. Talau. Hetherington. Stewart. Picking up a second man on the inside. It's Bradley Clyde. Darren Smith is back into the action. And this is Stewart. Pulled down by his opposite number. Corey Hughes. That kick is perfect. Craig Wing. Back into the field of play. The referee's called him to tap it on the 20-metre line. Well, I thought that he left the field of play to mark it in the in-goal.
I think Craig Wing did too. He was away down that far touchline, and he had one to beat. No doubt about it. He went from in the field of play, collected it back in the other joint down the end, and away he went.
The in-goal area.
Great commentary that.
Nickel.
We knew what you were talking about. That's the scary part.
Slattery. Crossing the halfway is Iro. Schloss. Gets it away. Garlick. Basketball down for Rodwell. And he was oh, what's happened here? He's lost the ball. Scoreboard, 14-12, Canterbury's way. (14-12) with 7 minutes of time to go. Wide world of sports on a Sunday afternoon. We invite you to join us right through the year. 4 o'clock on a Sunday in Sydney. And of course, you people taking it live in New Zealand. We again welcome you back to the new coverage of the season.
And for those people who saw this game as maybe the least attractive of the ones that we've covered, I think they've been pleasantly surprised as to they get one against the feed. They have. So maybe that's the stroke of luck South Sydney needed to get away with this match. Possession when it should have been Canterbury's.
Played by Hookie. Caruana. They're 40 metres away from the Canterbury line. Parsons. And that's been knocked backwards. Trindle along the ground. And Canterbury come up with it. But he's ruled a knock on.
Well, we spoke about patience. There's just none being shown at all out there. You always knew once that ball hit the deck, there was going to be a knock on somewhere. It took a while. Parsons has played well today. Some good second phase offloading by him. And there was the tiniest of knock-ons there from Iro, who also has played well today, Tony Iro.
Clyde. Barry Ward. Stewart. Darren Britt. Silva. Corey Hughes. Now it's Reardon. And put away out there by Nickel. 35 metres out from the south lane. Robert Ralph. 14-12, inside 5 minutes to go. Stewart. Kick into the corner occupied by Lumans. And Lumans is back into the field of play. Wing. Whoa! He ran through a couple of the big men like it was a flag race. Parsons, now don't do anything stupid, son. 25 out from their own line. Somebody's got to settle it down. Rodwell, Hookie, now we'll see how much pace he's got. He's lost a shoe. He beats another one. Still not held, plays the ball. James Smith gets it away. Iro on, Trindle with it, across for Duneman. Duneman for Nicol. Nicol away for Wing. Wing for the corner, and the corner post is gone. But the touch judge, I don't know what he's
kept the flag
ruling.
down. They'll go to the video. Now, we believe on this side that Brett Rodwell was taken out of play on the inside of Craig Wing.
Oh, his poleaxe, Pete, and the touch judge from this side has come in. He'll report it, so I think we'll go to South's advantage. But
It doesn't look as though a try on the far side, but for mine, I thought that he went into touch actually, but the touch, he kept his flag down. Does he get there? He's nearly there. No, he's
gone.
No.
He's put an arm across the sideline before he reached the try line, but what happened back here?
Well,
That's what I thought Paul was alluding to.
Yeah, he saw it best.
yeah, as soon as it's ruled no try, the other touch judge, he's already on the field to make a report. So South still a chance to, there's the signal, as we all thought.
So when Hookie was coming down this right-hand side, the inside man, Brett Rodwell, has been poleaxed.
17 for Canterbury, 17.
Well, given that Souths are going to get a penalty here, wouldn't they love to have Daryl Halligan in their team?
Well, what do you do? They'll kick for touch.
Exactly. Watch the man in the headgear.
Yeah, it's just a little bit over here. What happened in the stretch of play, South Sydney made break.
And Willie Talau, I think it is, who's pulled him back. I thought it was going to be Darren Britton. I was going to say that's frivolous.
What about Hookie? He's that quick he ran out of his boots.
So he's put him in the sin bin, Willie Talau. Souths get the penalty.
2.5 minutes to go.
And because they haven't got a Daryl Halligan, they have to take the tap. I don't know why they didn't kick
Why
the
didn't
line.
they kick for touch?
I don't know why they didn't kick for touch. Carroll plays it. Now Garlick comes back down the blind. Iro, sloshed, Rodwell. Rodwell's held 12 metres from the Canterbury line. Canterbury by 2. 2 minutes to go. Now it's away for James Smith. And Hetherington picks him up and puts him down. Garlick. Again, they come down to Iro. Oh, Stewart. Stewart has given them the scrum feed. So that'll take 6 from each side out of the equation. Now, Trindle and Duneman and Craig Wing, they become the important players.
This is a great opportunity, Tenner. You do not get a better attacking opportunity than what South Sydney have now.
They've put a mousetrap together from the back of the scrum and Hookie is tackled. 10 metres out. 1.25 minutes to go. Canterbury by 2. Trindle across the ground. Duneman, can he pass? Yes, he can. Trindle gets it away. Craig Wing, he goes in the corner. He's in the corner. What about the pass from Trindle? What about the pass from Trindle? Was it forward? And they've called for the video.
They've called for the video, obviously not for a forward pass because you can't rule on that, but it's whether he's got the ball down. Here he comes, Craig Wing. He dives. He's still got the football there, not a problem.
Yeah, there'll be no denying Craig Wing this time. The Bunnies, they've come from nowhere to snatch this. There it is.
Well, what an incredible performance this has been.
What a game.
It's had all of the emotion leading up to it. And this was the try. This pass coming up here worries me. Trindle. Oh, it's too close to call. And Craig Wing, one of the heroes, scores the try.
Gavin Lester came right in, tried to make the tackle on Doonerman, and by not making it, left the side open. Trindle and Doonerman did very well, got it out to Craig Wing. He's had a fine game, an excellent game, in fact. And gets the match winner, and we've seen both of the grand finalists from last season beaten in round 1 this year.
Well, that's another camera shot of the pass. But let me say that there was a pass earlier from Ricky Stewart to Bradley Clyde that I was concerned about. Doesn't matter about the conversion. Who cares? Says Tricky Trindle. This is a grand final reception for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. 16-14, they have beaten Canterbury.
This has been a presentation of Fox Sports in partnership with the National Rugby League.